Just want to point out that my picture of the Brazos Bridge is a little better than Solomon's, who did the presentation yesterday. He said I needed a joke, and that's about all I could come up with, I guess. But a little bit about Lane and why insurance is important to us. We are the preferred partner to connect and improve the communities and the world in which we live. And we've been in business for, next year will be our 125th year of being in business. We work in over 21 states. We have over 4,500 employees. We do bridges, highways, racetracks, you name it, we do it. So we're spread out. We need insurance, and we need to protect the company's assets. So our goal is to manage our company's assets from financial loss. We have injuries to employees, damage to company property, and third-party claims. And before we talk about insurance, we need to talk about risk management. There's basically four things we can do to manage our risk: avoidance, control, retention, and transfer. And that basically follows the OSHA model. Basically, we try to avoid stuff, we engineer out of it, or we control it. We set policies, we bubble wrap people with PPE, and then we learn from our mistakes, and then wherever possible, we try to transfer some. So we'll start with avoidance. Basically, this is engineering. You engineer out the risk. Wherever you don't have to do the risky operation, things such as utilizing equipment instead of manpower to lift things, limit the employee equipment interactions. We look at our haul routes. We try to pick haul routes, look at how we enter and exit a work zone, basically limiting our contact between the traveling public and our equipment employees as much as possible. And then a simple thing is just limit the time exposed. Breaks, meetings, if you've got to go and inspect the area of work, do your inspection and get out of there. Don't limit the time you're in that. If you've got to close a lane, you've got to work in traffic, limit the amount of time you're there. Next one is control. Basically, we set policies and procedures to reduce our risk and control our risk. Then we educate our employees. We train them about the risk, train them how to use the equipment, how to use the tools, and then we bubble wrap them. We put PPE on them, put gloves, hard hats, safety glasses, and that's the last resort. Retention, when accidents do happen and things do happen, we need to document them, take pictures, figure out the root causes of why things happen, and then we need to share those. We don't need to be the ones to learn from our mistakes. Everybody needs to learn from them. So we share them with other projects. When we do safety inspections, our findings, the problem areas, we share that with other projects in other areas. So something happening in Texas, we share with Florida or Maine and let them know what problems we're seeing here so that they can learn from our mistakes. And then we look at historical data. We look at trends and patterns of what's going on. We focus our training and prevention on the problem areas. Some things that we've noticed just in the first 90 days of an employee, basically I attribute it to lack of experience. Fridays, we all lack focus. We're all thinking about what we're going to do on the weekend. Holidays, a lot of our supervision have more vacation than our employees. So our supervision typically takes vacations around holidays. So we have a lack of supervision around holidays, and incidents tend to happen then. New job duties, someone's on vacation, so someone else jumps in a loader to go run it, and that's when things happen. End of shift, people take shortcuts, try to hurry up and finish so they can get home for the day. And that's when shortcuts, that's an accident waiting to happen. And then in spring, we typically have increased work, a lot of new hires. And in fall, we have our winter layoff. And that's where we see a lot of our higher frequency of false claims. Everybody's anticipating they're going to get laid off and want to get that paycheck through Christmas. Transfer is another one. We look at our benefit versus costs. Things such as mowing and clearing, I like to sub out because in the area where I'm at, there's not a lot of profit for those things and a lot of risk and a lot of public traffic interaction. With clearing, you end up damaging a lot of equipment. There's a lot of unknowns under the ground. Mowing, you're right in the middle of the traffic. There's rocks. The grass is covering stuff up, so you damage your equipment a lot. You interact with. So those are things that I don't think are financially the best thing to do yourself. Sub it out to someone willing to take that risk. Our contract agreements, we require all our subcontractors to have the same insurance requirements we have. So this basically adds that second or third layer of insurance to us. So I enjoy transferring risk to others when they're willing to take it if the finances work out. Well, accidents do happen, so that's why we have insurance. Insurance allows us to conduct our business without, the fear of financial losses. We typically carry two types of insurance when we do business. One that focuses on human safety, basically the workers' comp, and the other one, securing our assets, our plants and our equipment, and protecting those against loss. Incidents do happen. And just a side note, that excavator right there, it's new to the job, less than 1 month old, had probably less than 100 hours on it, and it's tipped over in the bottom of a ditch. Message boards get hit. Tractor trailers dumping their load on level equipment, they'll tip over. Things happen, so we got to protect. You can't stay in business for 125 years and never have one thing happen to you, and you hate for that one thing to put you out of business. Our insurance company that focuses on human safety, they typically visit our large major projects on a quarterly basis. They're looking for OSHA compliance, making sure we have a comprehensive safety plan, and any blatant violations. We have a very good relationship with our inspector. He's typically the same guy that shows up at the beginning of the job to the end of the job, pointing out very small little things, looking to make sure, attends some of our meetings, attends our JHA meetings, our toolbox meetings. And then our other insurance company that protects our asset, all they're really worried about is our numbers. We give them quarterly estimates of our equipment and our plants and our asset and our equipment, just the values of them, what we have on a job, what our liability is if a hurricane came through, if a natural disaster came through. Some other things that are really important is accident reporting. Basically, stuff shows that the longer you delay in reporting something, typically the higher cost you're going to spend on something. And that's because evidence is still fresh. When you report stuff quickly, the right people get there sooner. There's still witnesses there. They haven't talked to each other. Their stories haven't changed. You're able to take pictures. And I really encourage everybody to do on-site investigations. When I get an incident report that's written to me and put it on my desk, 90% of the time when I go out there and look at what really happened, what they're saying happened isn't really the cause of what happened. They try to protect themselves. They try to protect their employees. And that's why I like to use what I call the 5 whys. You ask why 5 times, and typically you'll find out that the reason the guy smashed his hand is not because he hit it with a hammer. It was because he didn't have the right tool to hold the pin that he was trying to hit with the hammer. So you find out the real reason why, not just hey, somebody just hit their hand with a hammer. You find out why that guy was using a hammer, why he was doing that work he was doing. So if you keep asking why, you tend to find a different answer than what you probably anticipated. Hotlines, I never thought I'd ever say I like hotlines, but I do. It gives someone an avenue, especially as spread out as we are, an avenue to report issues that they see, and it really allows the company to handle their problems instead of OSHA getting involved or environmental agencies getting involved. It allows us to handle our business in-house, allows us to find problem areas, identify problem locations. And it really does. People call it a lot, but it is very, very beneficial for us. And then the last item is a stop work card. Basically, we make in Lane's policy and Bennett, their whole program is based on an employee-based program. We've found that when a supervisor is not present, that's when accidents happen, and we're spread out on the Waco project over 10 miles. And we can't have a supervisor everywhere all the time. So it's really up to the employees to be responsible to stop and stop the work and stop somebody if they're doing something wrong. And one of the other things that we did on this project, we had a few incidents where things were happening and they tried to get someone to stop and they couldn't. So we developed, we bought a marine grade whistle and attached it to everybody's safety vest. And everybody knows that when they hear that whistle sound, they stop whatever they're doing, whether they're backing, working, shovel. Everybody knows that's the universal sign to stop whatever you're doing. And that has helped quite a few times with people backing into things, people driving over things. And that marine grade whistle, if anybody wants to ever hear it, I'll blow it for you. But it's very loud. You can hear it in the cab of equipment, and it's a very simple thing. A couple dollars hanging off your safety vest that's really will save someone's life someday. That's all I had. Someone had some questions.